For years, we've been wondering and theory crafting how engineering gameplay will be in the verse, and how in-depth it will be. Many questions were constantly asked, such as, will we be able to interact with systems and components in a meaningful way? Will there be mini-games when repairing items? Or will we just grab a repair tool and hover a magical beam of energy over it to repair it? Well, after CIG presented the third panel to us, we were given a lot of information on what this may look like over the next year, and had a lot of our many questions answered. In this video, we'll discuss everything they showed us in the Fix It and Fly It panel, and I'll give you my honest thoughts and unbiased opinions. The resource network, which replaces the old pipe system they were originally going to use, is a complex management system that controls rooms, components, and relays, and allows users to operate doors, manage life support, manage relays and fuses, manage power distribution and batteries, and view the current information on the gravity and atmosphere within the ship. Batteries will become essential for components on the ship to receive adequate power, and also to provide backup power in the event that the reactor goes offline. According to CIG, the resource networks will be used extensively in the game, and players will interact with it in engineering, puzzles and mission locations, and in many other gameplay cases that CIG talks about later. Honestly, this is a great gameplay idea, and I am looking forward to how this will look for us in the game. For engineering and resource management, there will be three main activities for players that will consist of tuning, where you'll prepare your ship before beginning your flight. This will primarily consist of overclocking components to be faster and more powerful, underclocking for more efficiency, or running cooler and perhaps stealthier depending on your desired gameplay approach. Now, there was a limited amount of information on how this gameplay would look in concept, but for now, it's good to know that they are thinking about many different approaches for tuning. Maintaining components and providing damage control as a mechanic on board a ship was the next part of engineering gameplay they discussed. This will consist of keeping things running perfectly on your ship by reducing wear and tear, oiling certain parts, replacing poorly operating or broken components, and replacing damaged components. Crafting was briefly discussed in this section, where they mentioned being able to craft components. While this isn't a part of the engineering gameplay, crafting has been a major point of interest for a lot of us, and I'm interested to see what crafting will ultimately look like. In the demo that CIG showed us during this section, they talked about what component gameplay looks like currently, allowing us to remove and swap components in Star Citizen, and then discussed and demoed swapping and repairing low-health components. Essentially, low-health components can be repaired with a multi-tool, while zero-health components are unable to be repaired. This will give us more of a reason to have a support structure to lower our downtime in the event that your ship gets damaged. In my honest opinion, this will make solo gameplay a little more challenging, but ultimately a good change. With the amount of complexity they are looking to add to this game, are any of us going to have enough time for real life? Honey, give me 2 minutes. I think I forgot to repair my components before I logged out.
Seriously? Again?
Well, tonight will be the fourth night this week where I'm sleeping on the couch. The third and final engineering activity is resource management, where they showed off the item view on board the Starlifter that had relays connected to each other and connected to the ship components and items, further pushing for more group gameplay in many ways. Having a dedicated engineer on board a multi-crew ship will be essential for many large ships. All the items and components listed on the screen were differentiated between consumers, producers, and converters. This system also provided information on fuel state, coolant, quantum fuel, gas, heat, battery state for components and items, the current health of an item, and the current state of the item, such as idling, charging, or the power level. In this screen, you can interact with each of them directly, turn them on and off, and in the future, you'll be able to change their power states manually. Relays and fuses can be damaged by many different things, such as fires, weapons discharge internally or externally, and in the future by many other different means. This will knock out items connected to these relays and force you to act quickly so that other items and possibly even your ship aren't damaged or destroyed. As they showed off a damaged power plant, they demoed the component being replaced with a multi-tool in order to get it back to 100% health. In the future, I'd like to see more physicalized gameplay with these components and item management screens both having a minigame, allowing us to physically repair components and items, or even possibly connect wires rather than just waving a multi-tool over the item. Furthermore, in both the item and room view, you'll be able to track movement on your ship by tracking door states and opening and closing doors. And I imagine at some point you'll be able to control lighting and lock or unlock doors. The room view primarily gives you control over life support in each room on the ship, allowing us to vent the atmosphere in specific rooms, control the doors, information on how long the air scrubbers will continue to work, and control over the gravity generator on the ship. This will give you an amazing level of control, which might one day affect the crew when landing on a planet with no atmosphere if the crew aren't wearing their helmets and someone accidentally leaves a door open when the hangar door is open. Imagine suffocating and dying as a crew member because someone forgot to close the door behind them. Adding in batteries allows CIG to focus on power management in a way where we'll have to adjust which components we want to primarily have the reactor power, and choose which components are powered by the batteries or which have backup power. The way that Star Citizen currently works is that the ships consume less energy than the power plant provides. Ultimately, this will create meaningful gameplay decisions on which items should be powered by the power plant and which items should be powered by a battery. This introduces the concept of negative energy, or if you're dense like me, essentially this is the concept of your power plant not being able to provide enough power to all your ship systems, which will require you to use batteries, so all of the necessary ship systems function and allows you to power additional systems. These batteries can be recharged via your power plant by allocating power to your battery chargers and/or replacing discharged batteries so that you can ensure that none of your systems lose power. Malfunctions were also discussed that will be systemic and triggered through the environment, item, and resource network states. This will be data-driven, allowing for more design freedom for setup and having varying levels of reliability based on the different classes. Additionally, these systems will be engaging, which will increase complexity and will have specific repair steps or multiple steps in order to resolve malfunctions or fix the problem. Examples of malfunctions are fires, spreading misfires, such as a relay making electrical surges spread throughout the ship, making fuses blow out, and signature bursts, which will increase your ship's signature, making you appear more prominently on radar. I can see signature bursts being a very important issue to avoid when stealth gameplay is fully introduced into the game. Examples of countering these malfunctions are suffocating fire with life support systems, repairing and replacing items and fuses, and power cycling items. I can imagine the future of Star Citizen now. Hello, this is tech support. My name is Brian. How can I help you?
Hey Brian, I'm having an issue with my quantum drive. Every time I activate the quantum drive, it doesn't spool up at all.
Sir, did you turn it off and on first? Following Malfunctions, they showed a demo of fire and engineering gameplay in action, where they used a fire extinguisher to put out a small fire, which looked pretty simple, and they noted,
"It just works."
Now, a larger fire might require more than just a fire extinguisher, and will be something that we'll need to respond to quickly so that it doesn't spread to more rooms or systems. Sealing the fire in a room by closing both doors and venting the atmosphere so the fire has no oxygen and burns out will be the desired option for controlling large fires on ships. This of course begs the question on whether we can vent the room to space and cause the temperatures to significantly drop, that way when we cycle oxygen back in, the fire doesn't reignite. I'm also hoping that there will be some type of system for monitoring these fires, such as a camera for each room. Seeing the results of a large fire was pretty awesome, however. Good work, CIG. They also showed a demo of all these features in game, allowing us to see how exactly this will play once we get our hands on these updates. I think that this will be a pretty massive game changer and will encourage large ship gameplay to be heavily focused on teamwork and having enough crew to man turrets and repair components. If you want to watch the demo, I've linked to the video at the specific time in the comments below. Finally, they discussed what we might see in the future with the resource network and discussed things like sabotaging a power plant, disabling a relay to turn off all power to an enemy base, disarming security systems, or disabling life support. This systemic gameplay will also tie into the crafting and base building gameplay, where bases built by players will form resource networks and introduce a lot of unique challenges. CIG is really thinking about a lot of things in order to really push the game forward, and many of us can't wait to get our hands on the test environment of this new gameplay feature. This will drastically change the game for large ship gameplay, and put more emphasis on teamwork, resource management, and more. I'll be honest and say that for many people, this is a very important feature. As information comes out when this test environment will be released, I'll be sure to post a video and let you all know. The future of Star Citizen is beginning to look brighter as the years go by, with more gameplay being added and updates seemingly coming out quicker this year. and I feel a lot more energized about this game more than I have in the last 5 years. 2024 will probably be one of the most defining years for Star Citizen and Squadron 42, and I hope it's all up from here. We'll have to see how this next year shapes up, but I'm a little more optimistic for the future. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, make sure you hit that like button, and if you think I'm doing a good job, consider subscribing to the channel. In the next video, we'll discuss the third panel and all the ships they showed off, including some of the ships that many of us are extremely hyped about. What did you think about the engineering gameplay, and what ships are you anticipating the most? Let me know in the comments below. As always, I hope that you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video. Have it go.